Bum bum bum. Hey everybody, welcome back to Coffee with Mikey. Today, I am going to talk through my process for what I want to put in my paper. So, week 4 overview why supervision matters. This is for MGM 5521, Foundations of Coaching. So this assignment is a culmination of 4 weeks of this course, which is Foundations of Coaching, right? What coaching is, what it's not. The book we had to listen to slash read is Coactive Coaching. And yeah, post a 4-page paper that describes what you've learned this block, what ideas and concepts most resonated with you, what did you learn about yourself as a coach, where were you challenged, what skills or aptitudes would you like to build. Follow APA format. Easy peasy. So every course has like the wholeness. What is the integration? Or I don't know what's the best way to describe wholeness, like the entire concept of what's going on and how we integrate it into who we are. So in this module, we explore coaching supervision as a dynamic, reflective, and relational practice that supports coaching development, accountability, and professional growth. Participants engage with supervision to explore the coaching practice, examine relational dynamics, and integrate psychotherapeutic and systemic perspectives. It's like reading from prompts really like gives me a difficult time. Like when I try to script things, I just always go off script because in that moment I feel like I need to say something else or things like that. It's practice. It's practice. Got to get my reps in. So supervision sessions cultivate presence, awareness, and reflection, enabling coaches to gain insight, address challenges, and enhance their effectiveness with clients. So like in this course, I have a coach's coach, right? So I'm the coach, excuse me, and the supervision feedback I got from my coach, which one of the professors, right, gave me good feedback. And it was just one coaching session that they reviewed and gave me feedback on. And I think it was good. So she gave me feedback on saying I didn't talk a lot, which if you know me, is out of character. uh, and what it was happening is that I was listening and I was with that person in that moment. I saw the situation while trying to stay objective and not get caught in their story, in their narrative, but to be with them in a way to help guide them through their question and to help them solve their own problem, not to give advice, but to help them come to the conclusion that they're looking for without my express intervention, right? I'm asking guiding questions to help them emerge, right? Emergence in the context is, from what I understand, being your best self. Right? That's the best way to one word it. This integration links theoretical understanding, relational awareness, and practical application, fostering the professional wholeness of both coach and supervisor. Science of creative intelligence. When the field of unbounded consciousness is enlivened in the supervisory relationship, natural intelligence effortlessly organizes experience, allows insight, learning, and growth to emerge spontaneously in harmony with the laws of nature. Fancy. Main points. Supervision emphasizes trust, safety, and the quality of the supervisory relationship. Coaches reflect openly on practice, receive feedback, and explore relational and power dynamics, enabling professional growth. Science of creative intelligence. Awareness aligned with the unified field allows relational dynamics to unfold naturally. Trust and clarity arise spontaneously, and insights surface in effortlessness, harmony with the intrinsic order of consciousness. Group supervision offers unique opportunities to experience multiple roles, share practical insights, and engage in diverse perspectives. Participants explore collective intelligence, group climate, and co-facilitation dynamics to strengthen social learning and professional insight, SEI, Science of Creative Intelligence. The unified field naturally harmonizes the interactions of the group. Collective insight emerges effortlessly, reflecting the infinite intelligence inherent in every participant and supervising the flourishing of the whole system. Co-regulation. I've seen this a lot during class time. So we have 2 hours of class. And part of the exercise or part of class is we'll have somebody volunteer as a coach. We'll have somebody volunteer as a coachee, and we'll have the master coach, Dr. Mike, interject. The best way is like, you know, basically somebody works through a real problem they have with one of the people who are in the program they're coaching. So, I mean, we do a lot of peer coaching, but we have a supervisor doing the live supervision of the coaching, and that's been very helpful in a lot of ways. But it's been helpful to see live, like, hey, here's how I do this, here's how I approach this. And sometimes Dr. Mike would, this is what I would do, right? Then based off of my experience, I've been coaching for 20 plus years, and his big financial clients charges $400 or $500 an hour, blah, blah. We all want to get there, right? So this is the person who is there telling us what they would do. And it's nice. I mean, listen, I want to get there. $500 an hour client, shh, easy peasy. Give me all of that. But yeah, the co-facilitation is people are able to also ask questions during the situations, and good points, right? I'm not a big question asker, or I haven't historically been a big question asker. I think in terms of ask versus guest culture, I'm like the guest culture. I just fill in the gaps. I'm not really a person that asks questions. I just do it. And for me, that's worked for most of my life. And I'm working on the skill of asking good questions. And that can be difficult for somebody who's neurologically used to just filling in the gaps and making stuff happen. Three, supervision guides coaching to identify actionable strategies, enhance accountability, and integrate learning into client work, tools, frameworks, and reflective process translate insight into measurable professional growth, SEI. When reflection rests in the field of natural law, action becomes spontaneous and effective. Insight flows naturally into practice, manifesting outcomes that are coherent with the totality of consciousness. By combining a relational safety, theoretical grounding, group and one-to-one formats and reflective practice, supervision develops coaches across multiple dimensions, technical, developmental, normative, and restorative. The process cultivates personal confidence, resilience, and skill adaptability, SCI. When awareness, understanding, and action are rooted in the unified field, development unfolds effortlessly, and the potential of coach, client, and supervisor is naturally expressed in alignment with the infinite intelligence. Right, here's the summary. In this module, we learned that coaching supervision is reflective and relational practice that supports professional growth, accountability, and the development of both coach and supervisor. They explore relational dynamics, group interactions, psychotherapeutic, and systemic perspectives to deepen insight and enhance effectiveness with clients. Supervision provides structured reflection. That happened. Translating learning into actionable strategies and fostering skillful adaptation across multiple functions. By integrating awareness, trust, and theoretical understanding, coaches experience professional wholeness and growth that aligns with the natural intelligence of the supervisory process. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so here's where I learned during my one-on-one with my coaching supervisor. She's fantastic, and she gave me a lot of good feedback in terms of what I can improve and where I was in the moment. And I had like this, my default is just to laugh at stuff. Like I had this really kind of, what I've learned is an uncomfortable laugh. Like in uncomfortable situations, I just laugh to fill the void of the silence and noise. And she's like, what's that laugh? And I was like, oh, when I get nervous, I laugh. I'm just one of those people. And I just never said that out loud, ever. 37, never said it out loud before. And I learned that from my friends, David, who would just laugh at everything. I was like, oh, let's take that on. But people say they love my laugh. It's very infectious and contagious. But like, I had a lady friend one time asked me, she's like, have you always been this funny? And I was like, I don't know. Let me ask my sister. And I text my sister and asked her, and she's like, yeah. And he laughs at his own joke. And he laughs at his own jokes mid joke. Um, So that was really funny. But uh, in terms of the coaching feedback that she gave me, I was not asking a lot of good questions. I was letting the person speak and articulate where they're coming from, because I've had multiple coaching sessions with that person. I had more context. And so like that was like session 4 in terms of the program. So there was some missing context. So I wanted the person to speak more so they can help come to their own conclusion while I'm coaching them and asking the pointing questions. So I talked 9% of the conversation. The coaching metric, we use Ray Notes, RAE notes.com, I think. And it transcribes and as well as uses the AI model. It has an AI model that will give us the points uh, of work towards ICF. So the goal for this master's program for me, one of the goals is to not only get the master's degree, dun, 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 but to also get the ICF certification, the professional coaching certification through ICF, ICF being the International Coaching Federation, which is the governing body of certification for this coaching. At least that coaching certification that I'm shooting for. So this program is ICF certified. I'm going to get all the coaching hours that I need in order to do that. So it'll be great, because I'll end up probably coaching thousands and thousands of people over the course of my life, maybe more. And it's just getting reps in and working with people, different personalities. So I know this person and I want to hear more of their story so I can better ask the questions. And the feedback I got was I wasn't asking enough questions. I wasn't interrupting. I don't have a problem interrupting people, but I want people to come to the realization. I kind of live for the aha moments. I don't kind of live. I live for the aha moments when I'm coaching somebody, and they have the realization when they're talking like, aha, eureka, that's it. And for some people, it takes longer to get there than others, right? And sometimes it's asking, what if you did the opposite? What if you did this? And it's like I have to get out of the advice giving practice and get into more of the practice of asking questions to help facilitate people's emergence. And I think I talked to my boss about this yesterday during a one-on-one, because I was like, grad school's taking a lot out of me. He's like, oh, how's it going? And I was like, dude, it's crazy good. I didn't say it like that, but I'm closing a lot of open loops in my life, and I'm taking unfinished business and I'm treating it as a side quest, right? Like if you're a gamer, you have the main quest and you have side quests, right? And like I'm one of the people who does all the side quests. I do all the side quests first because I have like really bad ADHD. I don't know. I probably don't. I probably have like regular ADHD, not really bad. But I mean, for me in my life, I have no context of what other people's nervous systems or mindsets are like or framework. It's just me. So I just lived this whole life. So side quests, knock out all the side quests. Uh, that's what I've been doing. I've been going back in my life, like, what are some open loops or unfinished business in my life that I'd like to address? And I've been doing that. I can't tell you what any of them are, but I've been doing that. Close out. Yeah, once I close things out, I just forget about them. So that's been very helpful to do. And going back to the supervision, I mean, supervision is important because I have a coach's coach, right? So, you know, in professional sports, there's like the main coach, and then there's like the technical coaches. I can't name any of them because I don't follow any kind of professional. Oh, I guess I followed UFC for a while. So with MMA, you have like the head coach, and then you have the striking coach, you have the grappling coach, you have the conditioning coach, right? Not everybody can do everything perfectly or even well. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, right? That's why we have teams. Winning's a team sport. I say that. I tell that to my team. Winning's a team sport, right? If we want to accomplish things, you do it as a team. What is the quote I said during an interview with somebody who is now my that became an intern and now is a full-time employee? My lead engineer also didn't know this quote. It is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Because there's group dynamics and pros and cons that other people have, and we support each other moving forward in the journey. So if you want to sprint ahead, that's cool. But if you want to go far, right, you go together as a group. In the group dynamic, humans are social creatures, right? We lived in tribes. Today we have friendships and things like that, close friends and family. That is, our our families are built-in, our built-in tribe. So in some family dynamics are great, some are good, right? And we learned about that in previous in previous like classes and modules about like different family dynamics. So coming like understanding that coming into the coaching practice has been really good. I thought I was getting a leadership and coaching degree, getting a psychology degree. I mean, it's part of understanding like different foundations of different like practices and integrating that into my own coaching practice and what works for me and what I can do to help other people. So I'm skill building. And part of the skill building is learning to take feedback impartially as data points, right? I've learned this in previous modules as well. Like your emotions, 5 emotions we look for are anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and joy, right? So I asked, like, why is there only one positive one? And the professor said, the emotions themselves are not positive or negative. We just kind of see them as data points. And I'm like, oh, so now I'm objectively looking at my emotions as data, right? So like angering, having anger, right? I'm not an angry person anymore. I used to identify as like a very angry person. I don't anymore. Now I just see it as a data point, like, oh, I was angry in this moment, and this is why, right? And whatever triggered me, or something triggered sadness, something maybe very fearful, right? And we have something called EQ Lab where we just talk about our feelings. We talk about those 5 feelings and what comes up when we're there, and our emotions, and we just say it out loud, right? And the professor there will be like, he'll ask a question and then be like, fear. But because he's feeling fear after he asks the questions, well, like, what if nobody answers? What if, when whatever he's feeling in his body, like however he's neurologically wired. And that's been helpful to understand about using emotions as data points because I like it. I like it much better than ruminating on some past weirdness in my life or a situation where like I ruminated like, oh, I did this wrong, and just kept beating myself up, and just wasn't happy about the situation. And I continued to ruminate and cycle through it, and I kept reactivating these emotions, and it engraved on my nervous system. So I've had to rewire myself to not do that, to not ruminate, to say, oh, well, this happened. This is how I can close this loop. This is how I can address this so it's not unfinished business, and I can move on with my life, and have more space and capacity for things I want to do instead of holding on to these old, deep ingrained grudges. Um, yeah, and taking feedback is part of that, and not being upset at the professor because they said something. Then they gave me critiques. I made a joke during one of the classes. I'm like, oh man, I feel like it was supposed to be an APA format, and I didn't go back and put in like the citations within the paragraph and stuff like that, and I just had them at the end. And I made this joke, and the professor was like, well, and the other professor was like, well, you're supposed to do that to give credit where credit's due, right? And I was like, yeah, but I remember I said it. I just didn't put it in the paragraph, blah, blah, blah. I was just blanking. It was like 3 in the morning. I submitted the paper at like 4:30, because I'm an ultra procrastinator, or I was busy with work because I'm a standard 9 to 5 engineering manager. So it's more than a 9 to 5. It's probably like some days are 12-hour days. And it just happened to be that week where I had 1 or 2, and it just throws everything off. So I forgot to put in citations. Oh my god, plagiarism. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I got flags because I cited on that. Come on. I guess I can go back and write the paper, but that was like 2 months ago. So if anybody ever calls me out academically, I was like, oh, well, it's cited. I just did it wrong. My bad, dog. Let me just go back and fix it. Okay. Complain about that. Go do something else with your life. Get out of here. Are you the plagiarism police? That's ridiculous. But also, giving credit where credit due matters. Giving credit where credit is due matters. It's important, right? If somebody kept quoting me for something and they ended up misquoting or something like that, it made me look bad. But if they never give me credit for it, Yeah, going back to coaching supervision. It's been good. I really like it because it helps me get better, and my role in my life is to improve, right? If I'm constantly improving, and I talked to one of my boys about this today during our one-on-one. Simon Sinek has a book called The Infinite Game, right? They're infinite and finite games. Finite games is competing against each other. Infinite game is competing against yourself. So like it's a loop of constant. It's a virtuous cycle of self improvement. And for me, I always want to get better. That's why I signed up for the master's program. That's why I'm doing this work, even though it's tough. It puts a lot of stress on me. Like my blood pressure's higher before I started grad school. Like there's the pressures on, there are deadlines, on top of like my standard work that takes up 80% of my thought power, my time, right? So I don't have a lot of time outside work to really enjoy my life and do things I really want to do. Like I want to get back into training again, and maybe like doing more Olympic lifting. Not necessarily CrossFit, but I mean, I like CrossFit a lot. I like the social aspect of the gym I was going to, and I wanted to have that sense of community outside of just sitting in front of my computer all day. The perks of working from home are great, right? But there's a pro con to everything. And one of my professors during my bachelor's program said this, Mr. Tinney, who I love. Mr. Tinney was an Army veteran. He was a tanker during the Vietnam War, and he would have these crazy stories over his career. And he's like, yeah, working from home is great, but you do get very lonely. It is socially challenging because humans are tribal, humans are social creatures, right? So like it's one of those things where like if you don't see anybody, like I talked to my friend Carl about this, who I share an office space with, but I haven't been there a lot since I started grad school. But I used to play D&D there with the homies. But Carl just wants to talk to people, right? He's a very social person. He misses being around other people to bounce ideas off and talk to you about stuff. And so when I'm in the office, he and I will talk 30 minutes or an hour and just go back and forth between work stuff. So I need to go show up to the office more and hang out there. And that's an action item for this. Go to the commercial office space that I pay for but don't use. Granted, it's not an ideal space, but we made it our own. I mean, I basically use it as a glorified storage unit for all my extra stuff. Uh, so we'll see what my next step there is. But I mean, I just signed up for another lease, so I have until probably next September to see what I want to do there. Maybe I'll buy a bigger house, right? And I'll just have Carl rent out a space in my place. We'll see. Maybe I'll buy a building and make that office space because I will have my act together this time next year. Maybe I'll move to Asia. Who knows? All right. Well, that's Coffee with Mikey. I think I addressed everything I wanted to address for this topic. And I have enough bullet points here from this topic of action items to write the paper that I need to submit because I should have submitted yesterday, but my headaches and stuff like that. It's not big. I actually feel one right now. And it's not a caffeine headache because I've been drinking coffee, of course. Cheers. I don't know. Yeah, probably just stress. Thanksgiving is like a day or two away, so we're gonna have a relaxed holiday and not stress about it. And I think I just need that time to reset. So I hope everybody gets good stuff for Black Friday. I hope you have a good, relaxing time with your family and you come together and love each other the way we should be loved. By the way, you don't be loved. Retreat. Whatever. Uh, Golden rule, platinum rule, right? Golden rules treat other people the way you want to be treated. Platinum rules treat other people the way they want to be treated, right? So everybody's different. Our nurses are different. Our cultures and expectations are different. So like me, the way I want to be treated is different than the way my best friend wants to be treated or my sister wants to be treated and things like that. So the platinum rule states that I treat other people the way they want to be treated. I mean, I would say within reason. So your mileage may vary. All right, take care. Bye.